Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. I have been solving math problems for GRE out of this book here, practicing to take the GRE general test, the 10th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it in order to prepare for the exam. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you're going to find on page number 375. Quantitative comparison question number 9. Let's see what they tell us. Number 9. About a third of the people who took the exam, about a third of the people got this question wrong. Only 65% got it right. They tell us 6 is X percent of 24. Let's put them in a separate area so that I can write underneath it. 6 is X percent of 24. They also tell us Y is 25% of 96. So what can we do? Well, let's take a look at it. Well, we know that 6 is a quarter of 24, don't we? That part we do know. The 6, we know that 6 is a quarter of 24. A quarter of something. A quarter of something is 25%. So 6 is a quarter, which is 25%. So X must be 25. So now it reads 6 is 25% of X. So X must be 25. Let's put it here. That's your first column, I believe. Yep. Column A, column B. In column A they have X, which we just figured out is 25. Let's take a look at column B. Y, we are told, is 25% of 96. Now people will sit there and spend their time trying to figure out what is 25% of 96. It is not important to know what is 25% of 96, as I have told you many times before. If you have watched my other videos, these questions are called quantitative comparison. They are not called quantitative computation, which is why I write down the word computation and I cross it out for emphasis, to remind you that these are called quantitative comparison. You are to compare the two quantities, you are to compare the two things, not compute the bloody things, as I always tell you. So let's see what we can do. I'm not going to waste your time and my time trying to figure out what is 25% of 96, even though it's not that difficult. But a lot of people actually sit there in the exam and do this. I have seen people do that. Sit there and do this, and then they do all the work and they get the answer. That is not the point here. If you're doing this, you're missing the point. Well, let's see. We know. I'm going to write it here actually. I'm going to continue our discussion here. We know that 25 is 25% of 100. We know that for a fact. We know that 25, nobody's going to argue with that. We know that 25 is 25% of 100. So 25% of something less than 100 would have to be less than 25. So 25% of something, this is something, S period T, something. So 25% of something less than 100, whatever it is, something less than 100, 25% of that amount would have to be less than 25, because we know that 25 is 25% of 100. How do I write that? I'm going to rewrite that statement, this statement, and we're going to rewrite it. This is it. Therefore, if you agree with this thing, we know that 25 is 25% of 100. Therefore, we know that 25, something less than 25, this is how you write it. We know that something less than 25 with a negative sign on it. We know that something less than 25 is 25% of something less than 100. That's how we write it. Something less than 100. Something less than 100 is written like this. 100 with a minus sign on it. So 25% of something less than 100, which is something less than 100, would have to be something less than 25. Something less than 25 is this. 25 with a minus sign on it. So there you go. We know that 25 is 25% of 100. Therefore, something less than 25 is 25% of 96. Voila. Something less than 25. That's all. Of course, you might be sitting there and thinking this guy is taking forever and ever to solve this thing. It'll be quicker just to multiply 25.25 by 96. I know you can do that, but I want you to learn how to think like this. That's all it is. So in column A, we have X, which we know is 25, and in column B, we have Y, which we just found out is something less than 25. Is it okay to put an equal sign here? The answer is yes. You see, it's okay. If you were to write Y is approximately equal to 25, then of course you will have to write like this. Y is approximately equal to 25. But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Y is approximately equal to 25. What I'm saying is that Y is, that's the equal sign, Y is something less than 25. Why would have to be something less than 25? Because something less than 25 would have to be 25% of something less than 100. Something less than 100. 25% of something less than 100, which in our case is actually 96. Do you understand? But of course we are making too much fuss about nothing at all, because what you should have realized from the very beginning, is that 96 is simply 4 less than 100. 96 is simply 4 less than 100. So if 25 is 25% of 100, then 96, which is 4 less than 100, 25% of 96 would have to be 24. Because you take away from each quarter, you take away 1 cent. If you have $1, you will have 4 quarters, and each quarter represents 25%. Instead of $1, if you have 96 cents, you're 4 cents short, which means from each quarter you take away 1 cent, 1 penny. So now each quarter of 96 cents represents 24 cents, 24 cents, 24 cents, 24 cents, and hence you're 4 cents short in $1, which is 96 cents. So 25% of 96 is actually 24. But that wasn't the point here. The point is to understand that 25% of something less than 100 would have to be something less than 25. That's what I want you to understand. I want you to understand that 25% of something less than 100, something less than 100 is your 96 right there. 25% of something less than 100 would have to be something less than 24, something less than 25, something less than 25, which I just told you actually is 24. Alright? So, I hope you found it helpful. I hope I did not bore you to death, bore the pants off you, or confuse you more. I hope you found it helpful. If you wish to get hold of me for personal private tutoring, I tutor over the internet via Skype. I also obviously do face-to-face tutoring, and I also tutor over the telephone. If there is anything at all that I can do to help you prepare for the exam, go to my website at www.prep.gre.com and send me an email. Alright? Or you can go to www.KeshwaniPrep.com and send me an email from there. Thanks.